here at Beaver Stadium. We're at halftime as the Penn State Blue Band is now performing out on the field. And right now, the Penn State Nittany Lions looking at a 24-3 deficit as they go into the locker room. We're very happy to have as our guest here at halftime the fine sports writer from the Philadelphia Inquirer, Bill Lyon. And Bill, have to be extremely impressed with the Alabama club in the first half. They seem to be doing everything right.
Very impressed. Penn State's fortunate that it's not worse than 24-3. Alabama turned the ball over twice, and Penn State's shown no signs of being able to stop them. I think Alabama has got Penn State completely off balance because they have thrown the ball so effectively. Alabama has a reputation of being a conservative run team, and everybody knows you're not supposed to be able to throw from the wishbone, but I guess somebody forgot to tell Bear that.
And of course, the Bear has always utilized the full squad. I know that coming into this game, he had 7 running backs that had gained more than 200, yet not one had gained more than 300, and the leading ground gainer for the Tide was the third-string quarterback.
Right, he uses a revolving door of back. He uses whole backfields, changes them around. He's used 2 different quarterbacks of almost equal time this half, and he's used 5 or 6 different running backs. I know that in one point in the first quarter, they had their second-string offensive line in, too. Of course, that is done partly from a morale standpoint, partly from a stamina standpoint, and partly because they're used to playing down in the South where it's still pretty warm this time of the year. That's another thing. I think if Joe Paterno had his druthers, he would have liked to have seen typical mid-November in Happy Valley.
Right.
This is almost balmy today. It's about 50 degrees, and I think Alabama, you know, they think they're back home in this kind of weather. I think Paterno would have liked to have seen snow squalls and about a 20-mile-an-hour wind coming off Mount Nittany, and they wear those fishnet jerseys, and they'd have blue navels by the first quarter. But he hasn't gotten a break from the weather, and he's not gotten a break from Alabama either.
No, exactly. How about quarterback Todd Blackledge, the sophomore from Canton, Ohio? He had his best performance 2 weeks ago against Miami, also on national television, where he completed 26 of 41 for over 350 yards. Yet last week, again, Todd doesn't seem to be able to put 2 consistent games back-to-back. He struggled. He struggled here in the first half. Can you attribute any reason to this?
Well, he threw one ball that hit Kenny Jackson right in the numbers, and he dropped it, if you'll remember, just before he went out of bounds. So that's not Blackledge's fault. Another ball, I know that he threw low to McCloskey, but he was throwing that away because McCloskey was triple-teamed at the time. I've heard a lot of criticism from time to time of Blackledge, but the bottom line is that as a starter, he's only lost 2 games, the Pitt game last year and the Miami game this year. And what he did in the Miami game, it was certainly not his fault that they lost. I think he's a big league quarterback. He's certainly got the arm. You've got to have time to throw.
Well, I suppose if there's any solace, they can look back to 2 weeks ago when they faced a similar situation against Miami. Came out and produced and looked good in the second half, although they came up short down in Miami. But what can you tell them? What can Joe Paterno tell his ball club in the halftime? You're down 21 points, and it's probably the biggest football game they've played. And since the last time these 2 teams met back in the Sugar Bowl, basically, what can you tell them?
Well, knowing Joe, I think what he'll say is, first of all, forget the score. Don't even look at the board. Just go out and start all over again. Pretend that the first half never happened. Now, that's, of course, easier said than done. But I think he's going to say, let's be patient. Let's be workmanlike. Let's just go after them. Again, forget the score and try. And the temptation is when you're behind and playing catch-up is you want to get it all back at once. Well, when you do that, then you start forcing things, and then you start turning the ball over, and you're just playing into the other team's hand. So I think you have to play it. It's like the old cliche. You don't play it. You play it 1 down at a time, 1 series at a time, 1 possession at a time, and try and work yourself back into it. The defense, I suspect, is the part of Penn State that's going to have to start gambling now. They're going to have to start blitzing their linebackers. They're going to have to start taking some chances because they've got to come up with a couple of turnovers deep in Alabama territory. Now, if they could get a quick score, get a turnover, move in for another one, and it's still a third quarter, then they're not out of it. They can still come back. So I think the offense has to remain patient, and the defense is the one that has to do the gambling.
Second down and 15 now. Blackledge back to pass. He gets good protection. He looks, he throws. He's got Jackson, and it is caught by Kenny Jackson. A fine catch we had to wait. We had to wait because the pass was low and around the ground, and Jackson pulled it right off the turf. The Lions have a first down and goal on the 4-yard line.
Win Elliott, Sports Central USA for the CBS Radio Network, and touching bases in all big college games insofar as we can. At halftime, getting to that Penn State-Alabama game, it was 24-3 for Alabama. Moments into the second half, a Penn State drive and a penalty gave the Lions 4 tries with 1 yard to go for a touchdown, which was exactly the situation in '79 in the Superdome, with the Lions trailing Bama by 7 that afternoon. An unforgettable moment. Well, this afternoon, trailing by 21. Of course, it was imperative that the Lions score.
Here comes McCloskey in motion. Now Blackledge on the handoff to Kurt Warner up over the top. No touchdown.
No, and it was second and still that 1 yard to go. It was Garrity and Warner in the backfield. Garrity.
Blinker back. Garrity they give to Warner, and Warner doesn't get it again.
And so it was third down and still that same dramatic yard to go.
Here comes McCloskey in motion again. Once again the handoff to Warner, and once again the Lions are stopped.
And there are 7.5 minutes left in the third period, and there's still that 1 yard to go. But now there's only one down in which to go it.
Once again in motion to the left. The pitch back goes to Warner. Warner cuts inside. He doesn't make it. He's stopped. He does not make it.
And neither does Penn State. Alabama, a big winner, 31-16. And for Bear Bryant in his career, win number 314. That ties him for the all-time winning mark with Amos Alonzo Stagg.